Alright, we're going to put together a 2003 Kawasaki 360 Prairie clutch today. What happened here was the spider. As you can see, this roller's gone. You can see where the weights were kind of rubbing into there. This one rubbed all the way through. Well, that's what happens when you get a couple of worn pins, and then the pins will, you see how that weight is just sloppy on there. That ain't good. So, two of the pins were good. No wear on them. So I ordered 2 new pins. The guy wanted to do cheap, if you saw my last video. So I got 2 new pins, 4 new weights, brand new spider assembly, and one of the nuts that going into the pins, because he gave me the pins and there's a nut missing. But what I'm gonna start by doing is cleaning this up right here, just so the movable sheave will slide properly. This bushing is a little wore, but it ain't bad, so we're gonna keep using it. But shine that up with a Dremel and wire brush, lightly grease this, and then I'm gonna start putting this stuff back together. So stay tuned. So basically what you do next, take the movable sheave, you throw it right on top. And what I did was I took a brake cleaner, went over the garbage. If you do it over the concrete, all that brake cleaner and black belt dust just falls in the concrete, and then you step in it and then bring it in the house, and then the wife gets pissed. So I don't recommend doing that. Put that on top of there, just like that. But I'm gonna add a little bit of grease here. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. Yeah, that grease really does make it just move smoother, but you can't even tell there's even grease on there, but there's just a thin layer. Smooths it up a bit. It's a necessary no. Try not to get it on your belt surfaces, otherwise you might have a little bit of belt slippage. That ain't a big deal either. Not gonna destroy your machine, but something to maybe watch for. Next, what I'm gonna do is clean the pins up that I'm gonna reuse, open up these new ones, and put all the weights in. Alright, as you can see, you just feed a pin through this hole right here, put the weight in there, feed that through the weight, and you can see how tight this is. Barely wiggles. It's even going to be tighter when I use the brand new pins. And all I did was use a 10mm ratchet, 10mm socket, and just kind of give them a little bit of a squeeze. Nothing tight. These are nylock nuts, so they ain't gonna come undone. Just make sure she moves freely and doesn't go too much side to side. And then just do that with all of them. I do put a little bit of grease on the pins, not a lot. Just enough to maybe help the wear, prolong the wear a little bit. So. Another thing, if you're gonna reuse 2 pins and then buy 2 new ones, if you can see I don't know if you can, camera will focus in on that or not, but you can see the wear on that. This one doesn't have anything. I don't know if that's coming in or not, but since I'm using 2 pins over, it's probably best to put the 2 pins that are wore or are used on opposite sides of each other, because this thing does spin at a high RPM. You don't want it to be unbalanced. Then put the 2 new ones. Gotta find that now. 2 new ones corresponding to, I don't know, something to think about. Alright, so the next part is to put this new spider on. And what that does is you gotta go on here. Each rung has to fit in between here. And it's righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. Reverse thread. And you need these little shoes on each one of these right there. These are the pads that slide up and down right here. These are all good yet, so I didn't buy all them. And plus, they're like $12 a piece. So my customer would have had a little bit bigger bill. Wouldn't have been happy. So we're going to put this on, go lefty-tighty, and tighten her down as good as I can. I think I got a little tube of Loctite. I think I'm going to put a couple dabs on each side here because the tool that I need is actually at Trav's, but a little bit of Loctite should do the trick. Alright, so it's easier to have this on a flat surface and put these pads in because all they do is sit in there. They're not held in by anything. So get them all in there. Pick that thing up. Set it right down. Make sure everything goes in. Okay. So what I gotta do is just add a little dab of thread locker and you turn it on. This little washer, it's brass, I think. That goes right there. Check that shaft out. I'm gonna wire brush this up a little bit, smooth it out. With the spring, that's bi-directional. And then you just put your, I wouldn't recommend dropping bolts every 5 seconds like I am right now. But remember, there's an arrow right here, which matches up with the arrow that's right here. So that's gotta be, it's gotta be synced up. So, alright, so I washed the cover up, put a little light grease on here, because there's a bushing inside this cover. It's got to ride up and down right here. It's nice and smooth. Little wear, wobble, but like I said, you gotta want to spend, $1,200 on a whole clutch job, new clutch and everything. But grease that up. Brake clean this, brake clean that. Just get everything nice and clean. And then you line the arrows up. Alright, double pin, double pin, double pin, double, yep, that matches up. And then it's really hard to get these started unless you have a clutch compression tool, which I got right here, but this threaded rod is too big for the inside of this clutch, so I'm gonna have to find some way to compress this to get a bolt started. That might be a little difficult, but really that's all I got to do. And you got your bolts. Try starting a bolt or two and stick her back on the machine. I want to add one thing too. I am not a mechanic. I never went to school for mechanics. I don't have a degree in mechanics. I just work on stuff. So for all you people that want to maybe drop a negative comment, which doesn't happen that often, but this is just how I did it. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. I'm not saying I did everything right. I just hope this helps somebody at some point. And all right, here's an assembled primary clutch for a 2003 Kawasaki Prairie 360. So feels like it's operating correctly. Stick her back on the machine, see how it goes. All right, so to put the belt back on, fish the belt around the primary and then bring the primary in at an angle like this. Fish it over this, make sure it's on both sides, and then you can just, fish the primary right onto the shaft. Got a mounting bolt, reverse thread. It actually took me about 35 seconds to figure that out, so note to self. Tighten that up. Then we got the clutch cover. I'm gonna put that on and hopefully my customer will be happy.